Iran, proxies, oil, and the road not taken. Hi everyone, I'm Kat, and I want to start by making a very public apology to my wonderful son who's currently stationed with the Air Force in the Middle East. When I heard the news of our involvement on Saturday, I did some mental math in my head and thinking it was about 7 a.m., I gave him a call. It was 3 a.m. First of all, thank you, Stephen, for always answering my call no matter what. And I'm so glad that you're safe and sound for right now. I come from a military family. One of my most cherished items here in my tarot studio is this Buddha who has watched over me my entire life. My grandfather, Wilson Ross, picked him up in Formosa, which later became the country of Taiwan. It's carved from a single camphor tree trunk. You can still see his name etched where he wrote Ross, Formosa, 1947. World War II was ended and he brought this home and he met my grandmother shortly thereafter. When you smell the bottom of this, it still smells strongly of camphor and it holds all my best childhood memories. If fighting violence with violence only creates more violence, then what would it actually look like to interrupt that cycle? Today we're going to do something different. Instead of just breaking down the Iran conflict, the history, the players, the oil, the proxies, we're going to ask a harder question. Where are the peaceful off-ramps? And are they realistic? Let's step back first, because none of this began yesterday. So, part one, the historical roots. To understand Iran's posture today, we have to rewind to 1953. In that year, Iran's elected prime minister was overthrown in a coup backed by Western intelligence services after he attempted to nationalize Iran's oil industry. That moment became a deep psychological and political scar for Iranians. Fast forward to 1979. The Islamic Revolution overthrew the Shah and created a state identity, one rooted in independence from Western influence and suspicion of foreign intervention. So then came the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. Brutal, prolonged, devastating. From that war emerged a powerful institution, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. Within it, a specialized external wing developed, the Quds Force. Their lesson from history was simple: never let the war come home again. So instead, create strategic depth, and that's what they did. Okay, so the proxy network, part two. Iran does not project power the way superpowers traditionally do. It does not maintain vast overseas bases like the US. Instead, it cultivated relationships with armed groups across the region. The most developed example is Hezbollah in Lebanon. Hezbollah functions as a political party, but it's also a social service provider and a powerful armed force. So Iran also maintains influence with militia networks in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. The strategic idea is deterrence through distribution. If Iran is attacked, multiple fronts could ignite. That uncertainty discourages direct strikes, but there's the problem. Deterrence through proxies also creates constant low-level conflict, and constant low-level conflict normalizes escalation. Part three, the economic layer. So now add geography. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most critical oil transit points. A significant portion of globally traded oil passes through this narrow corridor. Iran borders it. Even limited instability there can spike oil prices, disrupt supply chains, raise shipping insurance rates, impact global inflation. Sanctions further complicate the picture. To restrict Iran's nuclear ambitions and regional activities, the United States and its allies imposed economic sanctions. In response, a shadow economy emerged: ship-to-ship oil transfers, reflagged tankers, complex middlemen networks. Meanwhile, inside Iran, the IRGC expanded into economic sectors with infrastructure, engineering, telecommunications, including entities such as Qatam Al-Anbiya, construction headquarters, security and commerce became intertwined. And that fusion makes de-escalation harder. Where's the incentive? Part 4, the interested parties. Let's zoom out now. The key players include Iran's leadership, concerned with regime survival and strategic independence for themselves. Israel, focused on preventing Iranian nuclear capability and limiting these proxy threats. The United States, aiming to deter nuclear proliferation and protect regional allies. Gulf states, worried about stability in energy markets. China and Russia, balancing economic interests and geopolitical positioning. Energy traders, insurance markets, maritime shipping companies. This is not a two-player chessboard. It's a multi-layered system. So part 5. So what would peace actually look like? Here's where we pivot. If violence perpetuates violence, what are realistic alternatives? Not utopian, realistic. Number 1, a ceasefire ladder. Instead of demanding total trust immediately, build trust incrementally. Step 1, freeze attacks on shipping and civilian infrastructure. Step 2, establish military hotlines to prevent miscalculations. Step 3, expand restraint zones for missiles and drones. Each step earns limited, reversible economic incentives. Peace becomes economically rational. Number 2, a maritime safety pact, or for the Strait of Hormuz. Even adversaries share one interest: do not destabilize global trade. A pact could include no attacks on commercial vessels, shared incident investigations, clear naval rules of engagement, insurance stabilization tied to compliance. When shipping stabilizes, global markets calm, and calm reduces incentive for retaliation. So thirdly, proxy de-escalation zones. Instead of demanding groups disarm, which is unrealistic, focus on behaviors. No cross-border rocket launches. No targeted assassinations. No strikes on civilian infrastructure. Reciprocal restraint. Violence decreases without requiring ideological surrender. So, number 4, humanitarian-first agreements. History shows prisoner swaps, medical corridors, and protected humanitarian trade often succeed when political negotiations stall. Small cooperation builds precedent. Precedent builds possibility. The 5th step, conditional sanctions relief. Sanctions that remain permanent create permanent hostility, but targeted reversible relief tied to measurable compliance creates leverage without humiliation. The key is verification, not blind trust, verification. Part 6, is this naive? It's fair to ask. The current structure is built on deterrence, fear, and mistrust. But even hardened conflicts have historically cooled through layered, incremental agreements. Peace rarely arrives as a single dramatic treaty. It arrives as accumulated restraint. So here's my closing reflection, I think, for you all. The Iran conflict is not just about religion. It's not just about oil. It's not just about nuclear technology. It is about security, trauma layered over decades. It is about geography. It is about power. And it is about fear. The real question is not who wins. The real question is, can enough actors decide that stability is more profitable than escalation? Because if violence guarantees more violence, then restraint must be made strategically advantageous. Not morally appealing, strategically advantageous. And that is the narrow, difficult road forward. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm Kat. If you enjoyed this, if you think others might find it useful, don't forget to share it on your social media. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me for more. You guys have a blessed day. I love you, Stephen. Stay safe as always. And as always, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our wonderful servicemen and women who have served our country. Thank you.